Hello everyone, Addy here. Today I'll be showing you how to itemize in Deadlock. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced player, I'm sure you'll find something in this video that will benefit you somehow. In the past, you had 4 designated slots for Gun, Vitality and Spirit, with 4 more flex slots, making for 16 slots total. Now that you can only buy a total of 12 items with no reserved slots for any category, a lot of people seem to struggle with what to buy and what to fill their slots with. This video aims to help you understand how to build and when to buy certain items. Starting off with the laning phase, this will usually consist of majorly tier 1 items with a few tier 2s. Depending on your character and the matchup of your lane, these items will vary tremendously. For example, if you're going up against a Bursty Spirit heavy lane, it is usually worth investing into either Enchanter's Emblem or Spirit Shielding. Or, if you're facing a melee lane, it would be worth buying Rebuttal, and if your opposing lane has a decent amount of card control, Reactive Barrier is always a decent buy. So make sure that you're buying items with your opponent's specialty in mind. Think of items that will shut them down and give you the lead, or at least delay them winning the lane, as sometimes you will be facing a strong lane composition and there's little counterplay to that. Moving on to the middle stage of the game, this is where laning phase is over, roaming begins to happen, and your team will sit AFK and farm for 40 minutes while the enemy is taking your base. You should be thinking of what items you're going to build in this stage before you even queue, as each character has a few core items that you will be building almost every game. This phase will consist mainly of tier 2s and tier 3 upgrades and occasionally tier 4s, and this is where most builds differ. I recommend finding a decent build that you enjoy playing, such as the twitch.tv/strange builds. However, you should not follow the builds left to right, and you should not be scared to stray from the build to buy items that your team needs, because we both know that your team won't be buying those. For example, Knockdowns have fantastic items for enemies with channeling ults or flying abilities, such as Seven, Dynamo, Vindicta, and so on. Disarming Hex and Suppressor are fantastic items against gun-heavy teams. Risk Beam and Return Fire are items that are built by both sides regardless of character. And perhaps, most importantly, buy resist items. The longer you stay alive, the more you'll be able to kill. It's important to remember that Bullet and Spirit Resilience aren't the only resist items in the game. There's a myriad of items that provide Bullet and Spirit Resist respectively, such as Cold Front, Silencer, Siphon Bullets, Fleetfoot, and so on. And just like there are items to increase your resist, there are items to reduce your enemies. So make sure to buy those when needed and not neglect that. Finishing up with the late phase of the game, this is when the game should have ended 20 minutes ago, but your team decided they wanted to play more Deadlock and buy every item on their build. This category usually consists of only tier 4 items, which are an extension to your build or luxury buys. If you haven't already, you should be buying counter items such as Curse, Plated Armor, Juggernaut, Spellbreaker, etc. During this stage of the game, you will very likely be selling other items in case you have no flex slots or if you simply don't need them anymore. Keep in mind what items you will be selling or upgrading and itemize around that. Remember, flexibility is key. Adapt your itemization based on the flow of the game. Monitoring both your and your opponent's items can help inform your decisions. For instance, if your opponents are heavily stacking armor, consider items that provide resist threat. If they rely on burst damage, defensive items can give you the edge needed to survive. In summary, in the early game, you'll be focused more on lane survival and domination, and in the mid game, you'll be building your core items. And as the match stretches into the late game, focus on optimizing your item build not just for personal performance, but in a way that synergizes with your team's objectives. Make calculated decisions on what to keep or sell, and don't hesitate to adjust your strategy based on the dynamics of the match. Every decision counts, and late game itemization can very well be the key to winning or losing a game. Effective itemization in Deadlock is crucial for maximizing your impact throughout the game. By tailoring your build to counter your opponents and to adapt to the evolving circumstances of each match, you can significantly improve your chances of success. Prioritize key items and communicate with your team to ensure that your choices align with your collective strategy. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section or ask me on Twitch at twitch.tv/addyisrange.